Hey guys, how's it going? T-Rex here. Oh well. Hey guys, here. Hey guys, how's it going? George here, aka T-Rex, bringing you another Raid Shadow Legends video. I just made this video and my microphone wasn't plugged in properly, so I am doing it again. This is a beginner's guide to the Spider's Den. This has been requested by a few new players I have seen in channel 13, so let's jump in. Where do you find the Spider's Den? You find it under Battle, Dungeons. You scroll a little bit along and there it is, right there, Spider's Den. Click on that and it will take you in. And you can see on the left hand side what you can get. From the spider you get accessories. These are available in other places, but they are a lot more rare. This is the main place to farm them. Rings, amulets and banners. And if you haven't seen my artifact guide, it's linked in the corner right now. Check that out and you'll be able to see what they do and what they are and why you need them. So this is a beginner's guide. We're going to be talking roughly from stage 1 through to stage 13, well 11 to 13. What's the best way to beat the spider for these early stages, for these early game players? How does the spider work, what it does, and the best some good champions that you can use for it that you are likely to have earlier game. Now obviously my champions are built up, yours will be lesser, so you will have to build them to scale with the spider. Stage 1 to 3 you can only get rings. 4 to 7 you get rings or amulets, and then from stage 8 up you can get rings, amulets or banners. You can see here I'm only up to stage 17 myself right at the moment. We are going to jump into one of the void stages. You'll see they rotate their affinities through all the way up to the final stage. So we're going to jump into stage 5 just so I can show you sort of a mid-level early game spider. It's 10 energy and you can get rings or amulets 3 to 4 star. So let's get rid of all my champions and we're going to talk about the spider. In the earlier game of the spider, you want champions who have AoE hits. Now AoE means area of effect, and that means that they hit everybody that is an enemy to them. Champions such as Bellower, such as Skull Crown, the starter champions, so everybody from Kale, Galek, Aethel or Elaine, they all have AoE moves in their kit. Later on in the game you're going to have to add other things in. In the first say 4 or 5 levels you can get by just killing all the little spiderlings, which you'll see in a minute. Later on in the game you'll want to add turn meter reduction so that the main spider can't take a turn and you could just keep hitting and hitting and hitting. And then there's other things you can add like decreased defense and decreased attack later down the line. There are some void champions such as Fellhound who have AoE A1s, again Bellower who I already spoke of. Poison isn't very useful for the spider because it doesn't take as much damage, but HP burn is, especially if you have an AoE H burn character like Ultimate Galek, who is available recently from the Amazon Prime. So let's go in with a starter. So we have Kale here. Obviously mine is 5 star, level 45. If you're an early game player and you pick Kale, you want to build him up as quickly as possible to get him to 6 star level 60. I didn't pick him as my starter, but you will want to do that. If I was a real beginner, we might have a couple of other rares or epics that we could use. Say an Aethel, level 30. Like I said, she has the AoE. Who else might you have? You'll definitely have a sniper, so we'll throw her in even though she's not built for anything. And let's we need 2 more players that you might get, champions you might have early on. You'll probably have an Arcanist, and you may have a Valor if you had the Amazon Prime. Let me just check that this is the right one. Yep. So we'll throw Valor in as well for decreased defense. So let's jump into the spider and turn off auto and talk about what the spider does. So this is the main spider right here, the big dude or woman in the middle. You see the spiderlings are attacking and they've killed my sniper already because she wasn't built for anything. They'll probably kill the Aethel as well. She's also not built. These are not these 2, 3 are not champions I use at the moment. They're just recent people I've been playing with. Valor I use in my faction wars. Kale I'm building. Arcanist I haven't used since close to the beginning. But we're going to talk about this spider first. So you see it's got 5 things up here. The 5th one, the passive, is usual for dungeon bosses. They're immune to certain things. And then you have the second passive that she has is one of the main problems with the spider is that she is immune to heal reduction and takes less damage from poisons. So Although Kale is good here for his AoEs, his poisons are not as great. And this team actually might not beat this level spider just because it's not a team I've ever built. I'm running it to show an earlier game player what they could do. The fact that she is immune to heal reduction is where the problem occurs, because her first passive, she spawns the spiderlings. These are the spiderlings, and they will attack your champions, as they have here, killed sniper, and they will lay poison debuffs on your champions. The more spiderlings that are out on her turn when this passive goes off, she will consume them, and then she heals by 3% of her max HP for every spiderling, and then permanently increases her attack by 10% for each spiderling as well, which obviously doesn't help. So she will take these spiderlings when her turn meter, which is this yellow bar that's full, hits. If she's had damage done, and she will heal up. She will eat any spiderlings that are there, and she will heal up. Now that is a problem because you can't heal reduce her because of the A2. And it's also a problem because she continually heals, and if you're not healing or you're not controlling her turn meter later in the game, she's a problem. So what you really need for early spider is AoE hits like this. Kale's A2 is a good example. So if I click now, he will attack, and he has just killed all of the spiderlings along there. Now obviously after every go she spawns more spiderlings in, but if you have a bunch of players who have AoE attacks, they can keep the spiderlings down for as long as they can, and then when her passive comes up, she won't have anything there to heal. So let's look. We have an AoE on Valor as well, so she'll hit in. She didn't quite kill them all. Arcanist does not, but she does have a way of us sustaining, so we're going to throw the continuous heal up, and then Aethel will take her turn. We'll use her increase attack, and then we will use her A2, which is an AoE, to try and kill as many spiders as we can. Now you see there, we now have a 2 count on the first passive. She inhaled those spiders essentially and healed herself back up to full. So I'm just going to click this on auto while we talk about the rest. This team is likely to fail. So what you need to do is you need to control those spiderlings. In the first 11 to 13 stages, the best way to do that is to have as much AoE nuke power as possible. So that means have AoE attacking characters, people who attack everybody, and have them hitting hard enough to kill the spiderlings like he just did there, over and over and over again. If you have characters who have AoE on their A1, there's people like Bellower, Fellhound, they're 2 void characters, but there are also rares like Banshee, not Frozen Banshee, regular Banshee. She has 3 AoE hits. So anybody who has AoE on their A1, they're going to be hitting all those spiders every single time, and they're going to keep those spiders down. You also then need people who are going to do some damage to the main spider with their you know, secondary or main abilities, depending whether they're there to control the spiders. The best way to compose a team is to have 2 or 3 AoE people, and then 2 people who have good damage output to then take down the spider's main damage. If you have HP burn on any champions, like the Ultimate Gaelic, he's really good, but he's much better later on in the mid to late game stages of the spider, so from 11 upwards, because the spider has a lot more health and you need to find a way to burn that down. You also have characters like Royal Guard who are fantastic for the spider, but not for the early game. Royal Guard has an attack that is based on enemy max HP. I'm just going to stop this for a sec because we're not going to win this battle, so we're going to back out. I know it's a waste of energy, but obviously if you have someone who has an attack that's enemy max HP, which I'll show you in a minute, it affects a lot, it kills them down a lot quicker. But in the early stages, a spider doesn't have that much HP, so when you're basing it on enemy max HP, you're going to hit a lot less. So what we're going to do is we're just going to leave this battle, and I'm going to jump into a slightly higher level battle just to show you what I mean with that, with a team that I would more normally use. So we're talking, let's go stage 12. It's Spirit Affinity, so it's good for me with my magic champions. We're going to go by rank, and we're going to look at who I might use for something like this. So with Spirit Affinity, magic champions are going to be strong against the spider, and force are going to be weak. Now that is not always a problem. My Scartorsis here is built very tanky. Yes, he's a legendary, and I am going to use him, and I understand you may not have one, but you are bound to have a force champion who you can build tanky. Everybody gets Shaman at the beginning. Don't build her past 50, no point. But you could build her tanky. She won't do any damage if you do, but you could build her tanky and then have her in a spot here so that the spiderlings will aim for that champion because he is negative affinity. If you don't have a negative affinity in there, they are going to go for whoever has the lowest health points in the team. So then what I'm going to do, because this is a slightly higher stage, stage 12, this is the higher end of beginner spider. I'm going to throw in a Tayrel there. If you don't have him, you may have someone else who does the job. He is there for decreased defense across the board. So AoE decreased defense. It doesn't have to be Tayrel. you will probably have a champion that has some kind of decreased defense on an attacks everyone base. Then who else I might throw in? Apothecary. You are very likely early game to have an Apothecary. Some people won't, but he is possibly the best rare in the game. There are multiple reasons why. I have a video coming on him very, very soon. But essentially, if you can build him tanky, once you book up his skills, he heals every 2 turns. And you want to make him ultra fast, so make sure you check out my video and we'll talk about that in another video. But he can process his skills very quickly. I'm going to put in the Royal Guard to show you what I mean about enemy max HP. And then for a final character, I'm actually going to throw in my Bellower, who's my campaign farmer, for some AoE spider control. We're going to hit into here, and I'm going to show you this on manual. So obviously you'll see the spider on 12 has a much bigger health bar, but it's still not as big as the later levels. So even at this point, Royal Guard isn't going to do as much damage as he will do later game. So we're going to speed the whole team up so they get to go and cycle their turns quicker. We're going to do some control of the spiderlings with Bellower. Decrease defense with T-WreckSs just to get that on the main spider so that this Royal Guard can hit harder. So you see here, attacks all enemies, so it's good AoE attack. Damage increases according to the enemy's maximum health points. So because he's got lots up here, he's going to do, I think, around 100k damage. 200k damage. And he knocks that health right down, as well as getting rid of some of the spiders. Scartorsis is obviously there for my tank, so the spiderlings should attack him in a minute. If I've played this right. If not, if one of my characters is easily killable, they will be aimed for, unfortunately. But hopefully none are. So you see the turn bar here, the turn meter. I'm going to select the move that reduces turn meter by 50% and go in on the spider so that he can't take a go. So now that the spider can't go, they can't swallow their spiderlings and heal up, which means I've got even longer to do some damage to the spiderlings and do some damage to the main spider. Let's increase everybody's attack and crit rate. Get Bello to go. He'll take out some of the spiders. Gonna speed everybody up again. This is another reason Apothecary is an insane champion, because he can speed everybody up, which means they get to take their turns much quicker. And you see the turn meter was reduced again there from Apothecary T-WreckSs Mastery. So I've got 2 goes left until the big hit again. So I'm just going to continue hitting the spider as much as possible, get its health down, because when it does hit up and that passive goes off, it's going to heal up a big portion depending on how many spiderlings are there. Now this passive does have a cooldown, so it can't be used every turn, which means you do get a chance to knock this spider down. But let's talk about the other moves quickly before we carry on. AoE attacks, both its A2 and its A1. This one, if any of your champions have a poison debuff on, which the spiderlings put on you, it will do 15% more damage. And this one has a chance to reduce your turn meter, and if it fully reduces, it will put your champions to sleep. So there you go. The spider went. It healed up a bit, and now we have 2 turns before it can heal up on these spiderlings again. So if I had more champions in here that could do AoE damage, like Bellower or Scartorsis, although Scartorsis is negative and he's built tanky, he doesn't do any damage whatsoever, then I'd be able to take these spiderlings out before that turn comes back around. So this is more of a mid-game team. I'm going to do a nuke. Boom. Almost all the way down, which is nice. Another 200. This is more of a nuke team, mid to late game team. It's not really a beginner game team, but I just wanted to show you an example. Obviously the Royal Guard doesn't do anywhere near as much damage. If this spider was, you know, stage 15 plus, where it's got more health, his damage scales as the spider's health scales. So let's hit auto just to finish this battle off quickly and finish up this video. So what you want early game spider is you want some way to control those spiderlings. AoE nuke damage is the best way to go for you. If you have Kayle, Aethel, Elaine, or pretty much any of the starter champions, they all have AoE skills. Elaine has 1 here and 1 here, so she has 2, so she's very good early game spider. Kayle obviously has his A2, which is AoE, and his A3, which hits multiple times but at random, so you're less likely to hit a lot of people. And then you also have, where is she? Aethel, she has an AoE A2, so only 1 move. And then obviously you have Gaelic as well, which I don't think I have anymore. I think I got rid of him, but let's just check. I think I used him as food because I literally never play the guy. Wasn't a great idea. I did. Anyway, you also have Gaelic. He has AoE on his moves as well. In fact, I can show you him if I jump into the index quickly. He has AoE, and then he has again another random hitter on his A3, so he has a chance. You also might want someone with decreased defense, depending on the affinity. Obviously I use Tyrell in that example, is epic, but someone else who is a rare who is force affinity, so will be good for other ones, is War Maiden. She has AoE decreased defense, so not only is it AoE killing the spiders, but it's putting potential to put decreased defense across everybody, which is helpful in all stages of the spider. So I hope this has helped you out. If you're still having trouble with the spider, consider adding someone in who has turn meter reduction. There are even uncommon champions now. Armiger here, if you can get him up to a good crit rate, he will reduce the turn meter of the main spider, which means that spider is not going to go and is not going to have that chance to heal back up. I hope this has helped you out. If it has, please like and comment below with any videos or questions you have. 70% of you are still not subscribed to the channel, and it really helps me out if you do, so please go ahead and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video, and don't forget, get online and get wrecking.